day, March the 30th, 1982, St Gemma's received the royal accolade by being opened by the Princess of Wales on their first visit to Leeds. Local radio stations broadcast live coverage of the royal visit to those not able to be there. For the invited guests and the waiting crowds, it'll be an event to be remembered. The Duke of Norfolk awaits the royal arrival, together with the Duchess and Sister Mary Sloane. The excitement mounts as the royal motorcade arrives at St Gemma's. The Duke and Duchess of Norfolk receive the Prince and Princess before going into the hospice. The Prince and Princess now enter the hospice, where patrons and guests are presented. Professor Richards and Professor Wilkes chat with the Lord Lieutenant, Sir William Bulmer. The royal party proceeds to the Norfolk room for the unveiling of the commemorative plaque. And now the Bishop of Leeds welcomes the royal couple.
This caring and compassionate venture of St Gemma's is a deeply ecumenical one and counts on the support of all faiths and all well-wishers, for it involves us all together in one of the most important new apostolates of our time. Today, sir, you and your princess have brought it new inspiration, and we can only say, God bless, preserve, and reward you for it.
Peace in this community here, peace in the staff, peace amongst the patients, and peace in our own hearts.
Your Royal Highnesses, it's my great delight to ask you kindly to unveil this plaque to commemorate this formal opening of our hospice.
Ladies and gentlemen, my wife and I are delighted to have this all too brief opportunity of coming to visit St Gemma's here in Leeds. And one of the patients that we were talking to just now in one of the wards was saying that it is quite a difficult place to find if you're not exactly conversant with some of the streets of Leeds. And I can only say that I doubt whether we would have found it if we hadn't had a policeman leading us here. But having seen a little bit of the place already, we have been enormously impressed by what has taken place here in the last few years. And I know that what has actually happened has been the translation of a vision held by a small number of very determined and enthusiastic and compassionate people into reality. And it is very exciting to see something like this having taken place, because I can imagine how much hard work and long hours and periods of doubt, no doubt, about whether you were going to find enough money and so on to be able to do it, because this is a great problem nowadays, and I know so well from all the other enterprises that we tend to get involved in. We're particularly pleased to be here because my cousin, Princess Alexandra, I believe, laid the foundation stone in 1980, and what is even more impressive is that it's only taken 2 years for this actual new extension to be opened. I remember opening a hospital in Newcastle, I think it was a few years ago, which my grandmother had laid the foundation stone of about 25 years before. So you've done great work here, is all I can say. We would both, I know, like to take this opportunity to express our appreciation from the short experience we've had here of the work done by the Sisters of the Cross and Passion and all those other nurses and sisters who work here, and all the many volunteers, of which there are a large number, and without whom this place would certainly not function at all. Their selfless love and compassion is only too clear to be seen, and almost every patient we've spoken to has said what an amazing difference this particular kind of care has made to them. Having arrived here almost in a state of panic, many of them, I suspect, and depressed, many of them have found a great difference has taken place in their lives and in their mental attitude towards illness. And this, I think, is a great example of what can be done, and shows that love actually can conquer all when carried out in the way it is here. So on that note, I would like to unveil this plaque and declare this new extension open.
Prince Charles unveils the plaque. It reads, "To the glory of God and for the care of the sick and distressed, St. Gemma's Hospice was opened by their Royal Highnesses, the Prince and Princess of Wales, March the 30th, 1982. After the unveiling, the royal couple signed the Civic Visitors Book, the Visitors Book for St. Gemma's, and a portrait of the Prince and Princess, which will eventually be hung above the plaque. Witnessing the signing, the Lord Mayor of Leeds, Patrick Crotty, Canon Lyons, the Archbishop of York, and Professor Richards. At this point, the Princess receives a bouquet from Claire Spence.
You've been given a right royal welcome the whole way here and in the hospice, and we only say to you, come back again. Thank you very much for coming.
Princess Diana leads the way out of the Norfolk room. Reverend Mother Wilfrida and Sister Catherine. The Prince and Dr. Simons leave the Norfolk room together with the Lord Lieutenant. They move quickly down the covered walkway, which is decorated for the occasion, making their way to the hall where 100 invited guests await them, all of whom are playing a part in fundraising towards the cost of the bill for St. Gemma's. The invited guests now have an opportunity to view the signed portrait. The standard of nursing at St. Gemma's demands a staff-to-patient ratio of 1:1, and that means the hospice relies heavily on volunteers.